technology is key. It doesn't replace the human component. The human component is still the intellectual capital that drives everything. So we don't want to diminish human responsibility. But one of the things that we're seeing is that a lot of organizations are still locked in the industrial age in terms of how they manage their people. And that's problematic because we learned quite quickly when Henry Ford created the production line, right? Had he had technology back at the turn of the 19th or the 20th century, he probably wouldn't have used people, right? But all he had was people power. So he used people in a way that humans aren't really engineered for. Humans aren't engineered for task-oriented, repetitive, mind-numbing functions. The human mind is a terrible thing to waste, so we want to enable it to the extent we can. So what technology has done is really eliminated the human requirement to do task-focused, repetitive functions. And what that does is allows humans to do what we're really good at, right? Analysis, diagnostics, right? The imagineering of new and better ways of doing things. So a good example on technology is if you look at things that are emerging like Raspberry Pi, where you've got computive functionality that's being created at very affordable prices, right? Computational devices that are far more sophisticated than what we have on what we think is great technology like your laptops or your desktops, right? If those can be calibrated into organizational settings and they can monitor things, okay? They can determine what is or what might be, and they put that into data, right? And we have the great opportunity now through connectivity of removing people from many places doing mind-numbing tasks to smart technology doing this. And all the human has to do is look at the data and the profile of the data, because algorithms are getting pretty sophisticated as well. And with the use of algorithms and smart technology, the human is only called in when it's required to diagnose what could be. Okay? So I think technology is going to transform organizational landscapes. The challenge is getting people to be more comfortable with it, right? And what we try to do when we're trying to get them to be comfortable, we go back to the notion of relevance. Is if you're relevant in your marketplace, that means you have to stay personally and professionally relevant to that market space. So I've been in organizations where I'll say, so anybody here on Twitter? And people will say, I don't use that. I don't use social media at all, right? And I'll say, well, why don't you use it? Well, that's for the kids. It's for the kids, right? Okay. So what they really are saying is that 30 or 40% of the demographic profile that exists in our community today won't be a part of their service equation. So they're not relevant in that market. So we say, you, by your personal choice, right, okay, are abandoning a great opportunity in your market space. Why would you do that? And they'll say with great vigor, I'm not doing that. So you just told me you are. Well, what do you mean? Well, if most of the millennials are coming up and they're only using digital technology for the accessing of their information and their intel, or they're only on social media, right, getting their intel, and you don't participate, you're not resonating with them, right? End result, you don't exist in their profile. You don't exist in their profile, then over time, your market space gets smaller and smaller because you're talking to a demographic that's fading away, right? In the production industry, just fade in and fade out. Well, you're fading out, not fading in. Okay? So to stay relevant, you have to stay on what's emerging. You can't abandon it.